A savior? Who is a savior? Why wait? And why the suffering? Is life really about the adoration of being a sadist? Or is there more to it than what we have or what we are taught? Is it what we have as a difficulty to stand? A light so peaceful, a flame glorious. Everything in each other. It was all good before the coming of the stealer. In a snowy, cold land, where the she attacks. Nightmares, sin, wickedness, and the endurance of limits are those things that the innocent must face. Hope, faith, love, and joy are the boost of the four that have been covered up with thorns that are oh so painful to teach. A bright spark from the almighty flame cries out, I'm fading. I'm fading. Suddenly the other sparks, which seemed to stray, said unto the other spark, Don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. The now fading spark says, It came to me without a say. Suddenly many of them faded away from the almighty flame forever. Oh! How cold the snow and ice were upon the land, how forced this spark has become. The land of the she seemed to have no sense of mercy, pulling it into its mouth of destruction. First licking it, then biting and chewing, and finally swallowing it all up. Right before this happens, a spark that was a little brighter pushed one of the fading sparks away from the mouth, sacrificing itself to save the less bright spark. Suddenly, now of hopelessness, the fading spark flew towards the almighty flame, feeling completely safe in it. The little spark felt something inside itself. Like as if it was not meant to stay in there yet. And so the little spark kept gathering all the other fading sparks within itself, while heading towards the big spark into the almighty flame. But the she-goat figure knew this, stealing and creating false flames out of fading sparks that will eventually go into the he/she's mouth, bringing some fading sparks into her. The little spark kept trying to get the deceived fading sparks into the almighty flame. Many of the fading sparks did not enter and dissolved into nothing. Nothing, entire nothing. The uncreated, the no God, no self theory. Eating many ascending sparks into nothing, collapsing because of the one thing that made itself, a no-self aeon. A sun that is a sun is not able to open the door to the almighty flame. Their light cannot compute with it, and for that order of all the sparks has been misplaced. Only one spark is big enough to take the little sparks to the almighty flame. The sun himself can never be the sun, and the Father can never be the Father. Oh! How young a little spark is. Oh! How abusive the male/female goat figure is. Oh! How the almighty flame isn't so forgotten unto the little spark. The little spark that is a sun but not the sun is urged to defend aeon. Before we get to that spark, let us go into the depths of the goat that wields. 1. Power for others. 2. Continue or discontinue the beginning of nothing, or the unbearing. 3. The influence of the pleasures, of the ambition of sin. 4. Them, us and why. A cycle that turns and spins around and around. And 5. Heavy burden. These are the things that the master tempter of sin, the dark lord Iogo Ali Tainter, has created in a strong usage of wicked energy into our pink maze that is within our skull. But why would this goat do such horrible things? What is her motive behind this? Is this to overthrow the Almighty? A bad childhood? A delusion, or something this soulless creature couldn't bear? Whatever it is that drove this person into that state of mind that it's now in? Is it driven by its own desire? To destroy everything in its path that the Almighty is? I'll slaughter you. You hear me? I'll take your horns and stab you through your triangular eye, said the 4-year-old, covered in acid muck on his body. Iogo just stared at the child for a little bit. He stared almost a whole minute. You ruined my entire existence. I'll kill you. You shithead. Before the child could finish his sentence, Iogo put spiders in his mouth and over his lips to stop him from speaking. Meanwhile, Iogo walked downstairs with a book tucked under his left arm and a golden sword in his right hand. Iago entered a room with a population numbering 18,254,019 people. Anthropomorphic of all kinds. Monkeys, dogs, cats, tigers, all the species in one big giant cocoon. Every one of them moaned in agony due to the roots of the cocoon, squeezing their bodies and tearing their flesh with the thorns engulfed in the roots. There suddenly appeared a bearded cat around 5 feet 10 inches tall. His name is Jericho Drastic. Jericho Drastic turns and approaches Iago. Ali Tainter looks at him and says, I have fulfilled what I have thought to have forbid to fulfill. May I please have the duration, speed, and strength of 18 million? Iago walked towards the inside of a large green mouth that formed from the cocoon. Inside the mouth a 3-foot heart. 2 7-foot anthropomorphic gray hawks with flaming eyes threw 4 oxes onto the heart where they merged with it. Iago shot a red demon and it flew one of the towards anthropomorphic hawks, which are called the bird babies. The bird baby jumped into the heart merging with it. Iago looked at the heart like as if he was in such amazement of a painting. For a short moment he looked at Jericho and walked towards the heart and opened pages of his book. With his left hand raised into the air, forming 18,264,019 bodies into one organism into the palm of his hand. The goat blasted the organism at Jericho Drastic and tossed the cat rat into the heart, causing him to merge with it. Dark purple-red flaming energy shot out of Iago's hands going into the heart, creating a giant red monster. With words calling out, blood. Meanwhile, with the child, what is a savior to someone who has great experience and sorrow? What's the point in doing anything when the deed is already done? Why insist in continuing here if evil is already conquered? Does it even make any sense? Whatever it could be, if you don't follow everything that is good, being something, you turn into evil, of which is nothing.
Seth!
Said the male voice while climbing up the stairs. Then the person with the voice arrived. He was another cat rat with dark long hair, red eyes, pure white skin, black nose, and a mouse tail. His name is Northrop Drastic. Zeth, don't worry. We are going to get out of this sadistic place. Just stay with me, okay? Year 1980, June 28th. Later, on in the news, with a female weasel named Alice Permont and a male deer named Zach Roundleft. Last night, the terrorist named Zeth Drastic has murdered the great priest hawk Rodzord Septob and is currently being hunted by a Largarus Yedin, king of the false world. Said Alice. What is next for the news is children finally accepting sadism upon their flesh. But before we get into that, me and Alice are about to do a super porn for your lusting, endless, no hearts content soul. Said Zach. Meanwhile, in land Insintation, world of madness, depravity, and wickedness, the land of Insintation is one of the most corrupted places in the entire omniverse that the Almighty is almost to the very edge of annihilating it, but throughout the years of endless sin, he hasn't destroyed it. But why? What's not fully convincing him to do it? Are there still some righteous people there? What could it be? Kill the bully, kill him. Said a shadowy figure channeling energy on an 8-year-old elephant grabbing the shirt of an 8-year-old male serpent bully. For some reason the kids could not see the shadowy figure using dark energy on the elephant.
I am going to kill you,
said the elephant child. The shadowy figure used more energy on the elephant. After 3.5 years of you hurting me, calling me names, and doing the worst to my mother, freaks like you should have your soul eradicated from existence. I have waited too long for this. Too long, said the elephant child. Nearly out of nowhere, glowing white energy flows and says, don't do it. The energy channeled onto the elephant, with the elephant saying, I want to do this. I want to kill you. But the shadowy figure hissed at the white figure. Eventually, the appearance of both the shadowy figure and the bright white figure began to show. The serpent with glowing purple eyes and brown skin is named Pantsorn Tuvard. The bright white figure's appearance was a 5'11" cat rat with a black hat, black nose, white shirt, dark pants, cat ears, whiskers, red eyes, yellow jacket, and a mouse tail. His name is Zethdrastic, and he is ready to kick some ass. How dare you interrupt the death of my son? For that your death will be as slow as a decade, but first. Pantsorn shot out more energy onto the elephant by the words of, "Kill him, before it's too late. It is now or never, you moron." Zeth shot out his energy on the elephant by using the words, "Think of what your parents see you as, a child completely torn from the sins of the world. Is that what you want, child? Do you want to become a soldier of perversion? Because once you put seed in soil, more of the poisonous tree will grow. Do you really want those trees to grow? Or do you want those seeds at all costs?" said Zeth. The elephant child slowly let go of the serpent child and walked away.
The incantation will hear of this. You party pooper, you hear me?
Said Pantsorn. I hear you, bro, but the question is, are you going to still be alive and able to do that? Said Zeth. What the hell are you talking about? All I have to do is tell them, that's all. It's not like you're in my house killing all of my guards, right? Said Pantsorn. Zeth smiled and quickly vanished into thin air. Oh, don't tell me, please, oh goodness me, no, said Pantsorn. Inside Pantsorn's house, all of his guards were chopped up into limbs and pieces by Zethdrastic. Both Zeth and Pantsorn were back into their physical bodies.
How dare you! For this your torment will be in burning sulfur forever,
said Pantsorn. How is that ever so possible? I mean, wouldn't my body only last for I don't know, 5 seconds maybe? You know, I sometimes wonder if the eternal hell is even real? Because how in the world can a sinful body even last that long? Also, I don't remember anywhere in the Bible where it says that the wicked will have a body meant for in terms of forever. Does not the wages of sin is death mean discontinue? It's like being in the state of preconception, longer existing. You get the gig, that's my point here. How is that even possible, when evil makes it impossible? For the nothing is impossible. I thought all possible was meant for the faithful. And the impossible is meant for the unfaithful. So how in the literal hell are the unfaithful, not to mention sickening, even having eternal life, if they are denying, no, the only one who can offer it to them? Doesn't life mean exist? And death mean non-existing? Do you even know the difference between those two? Man, I hate it. When believers use damage control to support their claim. Call me a shill all you like, buddy. But damage control in Christians really upsets the fuckings out of me. Said Zeth. I am not a Christian. I am against that. I am an incantation, which is anti-Christian. You love the Almighty, I hate the Almighty. It is as simple as daylight. Do you want to learn the A, B, C to have an understanding of simplicity? You goof, said Pantsorn. I am very sorry for getting carried away there. Now let us fight, before I get bored with the dialogue here, said Zeth. The entire floor of the house split in two. Both Zeth and Pantsorn nearly fell 25 feet down, though none of them seemed to be hurt by it. I hope you're really prepared for this, said Pantsorn. In a green rusty dungeon, a giant 18-foot anthropomorphic pig with orange-brown leather clothing and a 4-foot dagger. Its name is Belnuff, and it's hungry for some cat rats. Said Belnuff. Cut his testicles off Belnuff and burn his manhood to a crisp, said Pantsorn. Whoa Nelly, I don't want that knife between my legs, said Zeth. Belnuff tried to chop Zeth, but Zeth dodged the attack well and kicked the giant pig's leg so hard that the pig fell down hard. Zeth decapitated the head of the giant pig Belnuff and began to walk towards Pantsorn. I am so screwed, aren't I? Said Pantsorn. Zeth then karate chops Pantsorn into 100 pieces. What's going on here? Said the 8-year-old snake. I killed a father that didn't give two thoughts about you, mister, said Zeth. And for that, you are my freaking war hero. I would have saluted you if I had hands, said the 8-year-old snake. Then use your tail, said Zeth. The 8-year-old snake saluted Zeth with his tail, turned and slithered away. As Zeth got up out of the house from the top, there was something to him that didn't feel right. Another shadowy figure that felt stronger. Much stronger than the previous. Throughout the many skyscrapers that were over 5,000 feet tall, something or someone was watching Zeth. The shaking of fear began to grip with a strong hold on Zeth drastic. He held onto his 4-foot, 9-inch sword, red eyes open wide. Oh, heck no. No, not this. I can't handle these fights. I just can't handle it. Oh goodness me. He can't be here. How did he find me? I've got to get out of this place. Oh, Satan, damn it. Damn it, said Zeth to himself. As Zeth ran as fast as he could to get away from the evil energy, the stronger shadowy figure was right in front of him, on the top of a 1,000-foot building. It was an anthropomorphic 7-foot 9-inch bat, who wielded a 6-foot 1-inch sword. The bat rises up and says, "Good night, sadist lover." Zeth eventually had to get a grip on the situation and charged at the bat. However, the bat charged quicker, creating a huge impact on Zeth's offensive. This sent Zeth flying into another building, crashing through the glass windows. I can't win, screw this. I can't beat him. I can't do it. I just can't do it, said Zeth to himself. Zeth could hear wings flapping, indicating that the bat was near. Zeth jumps up and runs away from the sounds of those wings. The sound stopped, and Zeth was sweating. Suddenly, the bat begins to punch Zeth on the face 9 times, in less than half a second. The bat clawed his chest, tearing a lot of his skin off and leaving a few scratches on the bones. Zeth tried to slash the bat with the sword, but the bat blocked 5 of his attacks in 1/15 of a second. In less than 0.5% of a second, the bat karate chopped Zeth's neck so hard that it caused him to bleed. The karate chop was fueled with dark energy that triggered and amplified strong memories of Zeth's past. Zeth began yelling out in a panic. No, I don't hate him. I can handle the torment. Can you hear me? It is something of my withstanding, said Zeth. You think you're a non-sadist lover, but deep down in your mind, you don't seem to be, said many voices in Zeth's mind. I am fully tolerant of it. It's the only way to prove my strength to him. I accept my trial. It is what we all must endure. Evil cannot be destroyed by erasing it. That's what evil is, incarnate, since the beginning, if you could even call that a beginning, that is, said Zeth. Both swords were clashing against each other, with their own force and energy. Evil mixed with good is like a fading energy, thinking it can outshine darkness, when only the one that existed as long as darkness can be that energy's brethren in doing so, said Zeth. The bat destroyed Zeth's sword easily and smacked the cat rat's forehead with dark energy. Alone in the black, Zeth hears a familiar voice that he had not heard in a long time. Preconception is a belonging for all, it is not necessary to perpetuate, and where rebellion reigns. You know this to be true. You know he is the true rebel. You know it. He lied about reality. He's not a hero, Zeth, he's only a savior to the wicked, but he will never be our father. Not before, not now, not ever, said the distorted voice. This will never be believable. It is my refusal to deny this checkerboard mindset. I will break free from this. Now, said Zeth. In an explosion of white energy, Zeth ran very fast toward the bat and did over 50 hand punches in 70% of a second. The bat blocked all of them perfectly with only his left hand and did an undercut on Zeth's jaw. He used one hand only. Zeth crashed up to another level room and almost didn't get up in time to defend himself against the bat. The bat could lift over 10,000 pounds with a punching speed of 0.0045 of a second. The blow to Zeth's arms felt like an iron pipe stabbing a child. Even though Zeth was being overpowered, he wasn't entirely helpless either. The cat rat can lift over 1,000 pounds, has a punching speed of 0.021% of a second, and has one of the greatest defenses in combat history. He can defend speeds faster than his offensive speed. This is where his. However, these defense skills are put to the ultimate tests and limits. Zeth begins bleeding from his wrist, his jacket being torn to shreds. The bat knee kicked Zeth on the gas pocket, causing him to gasp and gag for air. By just his left arm alone, the bat did 8 elbow slams a second on Zeth's shoulders, causing blood to burst out everywhere from the shoulders. In a fit of rage, Zeth jumped back over 40 feet and leaped back towards the bat as fast as an arrow. The collision of Zeth's feet on the bat's left hand caused a shockwave throughout the building, tearing the building to pieces. The bat prevailed with relative ease and karate kicked Zeth on the chest, sending him flying into another abandoned room in just 1 second. In 5 seconds, the bat was in the room and pummeled Zeth like a thug with only his left fist. Zeth attempted to knee kick the bat's belly, but the bat defended himself well, with only his left knee blocking it. The bat jumped up 6 feet into the air and kicked Zeth on the nose, sending him flying through 3 more rooms in less than a second. I'm going to lose. The righteousful is doomed to die with me. The incantation might just be more superior. Are we truly destined to be preconceived? Said Zeth to himself. Zeth held his hand, flat out and high, with yellow sonic waves coming out. This is my second to last plan. I have to get out of this. I must destroy the incantation and Diogo Ali Tainter. I am not ready to defeat his second only, and if I'm not ready to defeat his second only, then I'm definitely not ready to defeat the master incantation. Diogo Ali Tainter, said Zeth. As the bat delivered his 2,000 punches in 10 seconds, Zeth blocked them all by using an ability called Chord Block, a power that can offer near limitless coordination of any attack. In those 10 seconds and afterwards, Zeth felt a horrible feeling on his hands. It was to the point where he couldn't feel a thing, for that his hands were going far beyond the torment. After the punches were done, the skin of Zeth's right palm was almost completely peeled away, showing bone. As for his black-stitched right arm, it was badly torn, with gushes of blood squirting out of it. Zeth yelled out, loudly, with tears coming out of his eyes, due to the excruciating pain of the bat's punches. The bat grabbed the cat rat's neck, raising Zeth up, punching him harder and slower. Zeth coughed blood, while his nose bled. The bat kept beating him up, choking him by the neck. Still holding Zeth's neck, the bat slammed him through the wall. There was over 1,000 feet drop underneath the feet of the cat rat. For 15 seconds the bat looked at Zeth and said, "Good luck." Enduring this drastic traitor. The bat let go, causing Zeth to fall over 1,000 feet down to the ground level. Meanwhile, with a female cat rat deep underground, is a disco party embracing all kinds of sexual sin, with an array of madness showing in the eyes of the anthropomorphic dancers. Everyone was lusting on flesh, until shreds of energy burst out of them, which resulted in the end of the party quickly. There was only one person left in that room. A female cat rat, with spiky black long hair, that had 2 ponytails. She had purple skin, with blue eyes, only 5 feet tall, her bust sized engulfed in the 38 inches. Her waist was 29 inches around, her hips contoured at 35 inches, weighing in at 98 pounds. Who is this woman? And why is she affiliated with these events? In one word from the female cat rat, she says, Zeth. She ran as fast as a squirrel, getting out of the party. Meanwhile with Zeth. For out of 1,000 years, well sort of, I still can't accomplish jack shit with my goals. Just nothing. I can't forget the life I had to live in order to be where I am now. The only problem is my progression is lackluster at best. Besides, I'm even considered, by many people, to fail. So why in the hell am I doing this anyway? said Zeth to himself. Barely making it out alive from the fall, he only landed on the top part of his back, breaking the spine a little. However, whatever he landed on was just a vehicle. He then remembered what Nortrick told him. Nortrick had told him, "You can be surprised at what you can do against enemies as strong or stronger than yourself. I've even seen people conquer enemies that were almost triple their strength. They beat them with just their bare fist. Even if you fail, Zeth, you might be a little impressed over what you can do with the more powerful enemies. If an enemy does not have too much overbearing power over you, then darn it, Zeth. Get your ass in shape and beat that powerful enemy." In a trot, Zeth raised up and the bat appeared in front of him. Zeth ran towards the 7'9" anthropomorphic bat and attempted to kick it on the shoulders, however the bat blocked all 8 of his attempts in 1 second. The bat grabbed Zeth's legs, throwing him up, 120 feet up in the air. The bat shot out electric plant-like energy right at Zeth in the air. The cat rat ascended to 2,500 feet in 5 seconds. 8,000 feet in 9 seconds, 20,000 feet in 4 seconds, and 180,000 feet in 12 seconds. By reaching these altitudes, Zeth barely made it into crash landing on the tip of the tallest building in Insintation, which stands 179,985 feet tall. By this he managed to land on the building without getting so badly hurt. How Zeth managed to get to that direction when the building was over 100 miles away from where he was battling the bat is still a mystery. It was as if the bat blasted him to be there. The entire tip of the building was the size of 3 Olympic stadiums, with a goat pentagram being the image. The sounds of the winds were squealing at a very high pitch. Zeth could hear the screeching noises from the bat. He could hear the bat's wings flapping louder and louder as he approached him. Despite the great confidence he had obtained from Nortrick, Zeth had a great fear of the bat, knowing that this creature wasn't even trying at all in combat against him, and the bat still manages to beat Zeth to a pulp. The bat appears in front of Zeth again with a small grin on his face. He walked towards the cat rat ready to beat him up some more. Once more, Zeth ran towards the bat with a little more caution and tried to karate chop the bat's left hip. The bat grabbed his right arm and kicked him in the privates of Zeth drastic. Zeth got back up and jogged towards the bat with an elbow hit aimed to the throat. The bat defended himself against the move with his left hand. Zeth tried to kick the bat with his left leg, however the bat blocked it smoothly with his right knee. Zeth administered 2 punches from his furthest right and left combos. The bat blocked that well too. Zeth attempted to get a hold of the bat's face, to headbutt him, however the bat was first to headbutt Zeth, causing his forehead to bleed. Zeth tried to use a kangaroo kick and the bat blocked it with his right thigh. The bat socked Zeth on his Adam's apple and caused the cat rat to gag and gasp for air. Zeth then tried to do a right kick on the bat's shoulders. The bat blocked Zeth's move perfectly. With Zeth's fist punching the bat's chest, Zeth only managed to do 1 contact punch on the bat's chest. The total number of punches altogether was 11. It was that single punch that caught the bat off guard. Unfortunately for Zeth, it did not faze the bat in the slightest. The bat screeched at Zeth in a death-defying manner that put Zeth in a position of having to cover his ears to protect his eardrums from damage. Zeth attempted to punch the bat and the bat caught his left arm. The bat karate chopped Zeth's left arm and by his right thumb knuckle he hit Zeth in full impact on Zeth's left rib. The bat did a spinning right foot kick on Zeth's upper part of his head below his ear. The bat punched Zeth on the left side of his chin and right side almost immediately. The bat knee kicked Zeth in the groin and uppercut Zeth with a blow sending Zeth 40 feet in the air. As Zeth landed on the floor, he still was motivated to get that bat. Thinking about all the many years he has been struggling taking on all these villains by himself. Zeth thinks about all of his friends and his teachers and how they all influenced him into becoming the man he is now. However, against strong odds, what was the main influence that these people had on him? "Oh, what was it?" said Zeth. The bat walks towards him and says, A cruel joke. The bat raised his left leg, and with a compelling foot drive, he hit Zeth square between the eyes. Zeth smiled at the bat and said, "You're good at sensing my motivations? And how could you know? Why are my motivations a joke? All the trial has to be is one good while. After that one good while, there doesn't have to be any intention of evil anymore. Sadly, some cannot handle the weight of sin. With the near endless amount of conflict upon each other and within yourself, I am beginning to wonder how you were seated, being a role model to many. In a social nihilistic entity, who knows how fallen you and Iogo really are?" The bat continued to walk towards Zeth, while Zeth was talking. "One thing is always certain, for that, if you do not follow everything that is good, being something, you turn into evil, which is nothing." Zeth ran towards the bat with his fists aimed at the bat's abdomen. In order to fake the bat and cause certain surprise, however, the bat blocked that surprise and attempted to kick Zeth. And an energy duplicate of Zeth attacked the bat on its back. The energy duplicates only lasted for 5 seconds, and the bat was not fazed in the least. The bat rose and punched Zeth on the mouth and did over 10 punches on the right hip. The bat almost punched Zeth with the back of his fist, but luckily Zeth blocks with his right hand and knee kicked the bat right smack back in the abdomen, this time releasing a large fume of gas. The bat seemed untouched, turns around smacking Zeth across his right cheek, and elbow slams Zeth between the eyes. Zeth, in less than 0.025% of a second, sledgehammers the bottom of the bat's chin and punched his belly over 50 times in 2 seconds. In excitement, the bat kicks Zeth, sending him flying nearly 100 feet a second. Before Zeth could fall off the cliff, the bat flew behind him, kicking Zeth across the back. The bat elbow slams the back of Zeth's neck and stomped him on the back of his head. Zeth tries to use his backup plan, a device of some sort. However, the bat took it out of his belt and threw it away. The bat flew into the sky and slammed his feet on Zeth's back. The bat repeated this over and over, that it caused the surrounding building to shake. And the building begins to crack. Zeth cries out in agony as the bat sinks its nails and feet into Zeth's back, cracking the top of the building a little more. The bat noticed his move and was ready to deliver the final blow. As he was just about to, with dark energy, Zeth rolls to his right, jumped up high, punched the bat's wing, and karate chopped the top of bat's head. This caused the anthropomorphic bat to crash down from the tall building. Zeth managed to land on a room that wasn't destroyed by the impact of both the bat and his attack. Zeth walked down the stairs and the bat appeared in front of him, with Zeth saying, "You were not even trying, were you?" The bat did 3 sledgehammer attacks on Zeth's face. The bat knee kicked Zeth on the hips 8 times. The bat punched Zeth on the chin, causing the cat rat to fall down the stairs. The bat raised up and stomped on Zeth's back and did an elbow slam with an electrical spike sticking out of the tip of his wing's joint. Zeth groaned and moaned in torment of the spike piercing through his back. The bat chomped his venomous veins into Zeth's belly and duplicated his head into several heads, having more mouths and teeth to chew on the cat rat. Zeth screamed, to the point as if he were burning in hell. The bat who was fighting him is the secondary antagonist of the series, and his name is Capron. End of chapter.